doesn't matter to me, chasing the clouds away. Hello there and welcome back to my channel. My name is Doug and I have another fountain pen video for you today. Yes, that was Tuesday Afternoon by the Moody Blues, and it is Tuesday afternoon, and I've just been notified that my mailbox is full of another fountain pen. This time it's the Moonman T1. So I'll go to the mailbox and get that package and bring it back and unbox it for you right now. And here we are on a Tuesday afternoon. I thought it was very appropriate that we play the music Tuesday Afternoon by the Moody Blues, one of my favorite songs, because I have a T1, Tuesday 1. No, it's actually not the first. But Moody Blues are one of my favorite bands, and I thought about the T1 reminding me of the Terminator, but I can't play the Terminator theme song on my guitar. So I received this package in the mail, and it's very well packaged up, and we're going to open it right now. And I received another sleeve from Bobby Pens. That's always nice. I don't mind spending a couple of extra bucks to get things from Bobby because they come reliably and well packaged. So let's open this up. And here we have the Moonman. It's a lot greener than I thought it was going to be. On camera, it looks very teal. In person, it looks very green. But let's open this. Oops. Our ASMR moment.
Oh no, not again.
Ooh. Now, that's a very good looking pen. It's a lot lighter than I had expected. That aluminum feels very nice and silky. Let's see. 1, 2, 2.5 about to get it off. And there is the metal section. I was anxious to feel how that felt. It does actually feel a little bit slippery at first feel. And it posts. And the other thing I was wondering about was whether that would turn. No, it doesn't really. Well, it's stuck to begin with. There's the piston action. Let's see whether when you post it, yeah, you can actually turn that. So when you're posting your pen, make sure that you don't allow that to turn because it'll eject some ink. There's our Moonman nib. I will try that out. But first glance, it looks very nice. I'm looking forward to this. The Moonman T1, the first piston filler I've seen from Moonman. And I'm going to clean this out with a little bit of soap and water, rinse it all out, and maybe we'll ink it up on camera. And then we'll do some parts and features. I'll do some measurements and some size comparisons, and then I'll be back with a writing sample. Okay, now let's take a look at this pen. First, an overview. I really do like the look of this pen. I was unsure when it first came out whether to buy it or not. I actually delayed ordering it, waiting to see some other reviews. Now that it's in my hands, two things stand out. One, the color is more vivid than I thought. It really is more green in person.
It's not easy being green.
Than it is here on the camera or on the photos that were in the ads. I was thinking that I would ink it with a turquoise or a blue-green ink, but now that I see it, I'm going to choose J. Herbin Emerald of Chivor. But let's look at the parts of this pen, starting from the very beginning.
Let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start.
The finial has a chromed dome on it, chromed piece of metal with the Moonman logo. And it's laser etched in there. I really do like that. And it rounds up to a 10-faceted cap with Moonman that's not painted on there. It's part of the anodized aluminum surface, so they've somehow put that paint in there. You can't feel it raised or anything, but it's integrated into that anodized aluminum somehow. The facets will keep your pen from rolling around on your desk, and also to keep the cap from rolling around when you're writing with the pen unposted. Because although this cap does post, it doesn't post very deeply, and it really back weights that pen to the point if you let go of it, it will roll right off your hand. So I certainly would be writing with this unposted, and you can put your cap anywhere on your desk and it won't roll away from you, so that's nice. The cap comes off, as we saw earlier, with 2.5 turns, which is a bit much, and it reveals a section made of that same anodized aluminum. Now, this aluminum on this pen, right now it's fairly warm to my touch, but when you first pick it up off your desk, it's really quite cool. It warms up very quickly, but it is quite cold to the touch when you first pick it up. I like that the section matches the cap and matches the piston mechanism on the inside and the piston knob at the back. So that cap goes straight until it steps down slightly to the barrel. The barrel is made of a really nice clear turned acrylic, which is very similar to the Moonman C1, which is also a wonderful clear acrylic. And you can really feel that difference, that quality of that acrylic rather than just injected molded plastic. And of course, it's clear and transparent, so you can see the ink as it's moving around inside when you filled it. The barrel actually tapers slightly all the way down. There's hardly any, there's a little bit bump right there, but then the piston knob tapers down to a domed, rounded end of that piston knob. Look at the section. The section is barrel-shaped and tapers down until it flares out towards the nib. Those small threads are very, very fine. You don't feel them. If you move your thumb on it, they're a little bit scratchy, but they're not uncomfortable to press into. And that step up to the barrel is a little bit sharp there, and you can feel that a little bit, but again, it's not uncomfortable. And here is the number 6 size Moonman nib that has that stylized mountain, the crescent-shaped breather hole, the Moonman logo again, Moonman with a circle F standing for a fine nib, and there's the plastic feed. While I was cleaning this pen out with some soap and water, I removed the nib and the feed, but I was not able to get that nib assembly out there. I didn't want to apply any more pressure. I was just uncomfortable with trying to turn it any more than that. It's really quite seized in there. I was unable to move that mechanism out of the pen like other piston fillers I own. That gap is too narrow for a wrench. I don't know that I would ever find a wrench that narrow. And it just, when you turn it all the way, it just won't, you're going to break it if you try to turn it any more than that. So it's pretty solidly in there. And without getting that nib assembly out, that feed assembly out, the only way is through a small hole in that nib assembly, because the section does not remove from the barrel. So there's you're going to have a difficult time cleaning this pen. And I don't know how I'm going to apply any silicone grease in the future to that piston. I mean, it's fairly well greased up now, moving nicely, but what happens a year from now when I've cleaned it a few times and that gets sticky? So I don't quite know what to do about that. And I've decided to live dangerously here.
Danger's my middle name.
And fill it with a fairly chunky and particulate type of shimmering ink. I think it'll look really cool in the barrel of this green pen, but it's notorious for leaving material behind in a pen. So we'll have to see how well, after using it for a while, how well this pen will clean up just by shooting water through the nib back and forth. But what the hell? You only live once?
And I also ordered an extra slice of pie. Because you know how many times we live, Brian? Once.
Once. So let's give that a try, shall we? Live on camera. First, I need a Kleenex, because I am successful sometimes, but not all the times, and you can't edit everything out. And we're going to move the piston all the way down, dip the nib and section into the ink, and you can see the ink starting to fill in. And I'm going to go down again. There, and I'm hearing some bubbles. And then we'll come back up. And the third time's the charm. Yeah, even more bubbles that time. And we don't do it very quickly, because here's a scientific term coming to you that my engineer friend Chris mentioned, that if you pull that piston back too far too quickly, it causes cavitation.
What is cavitation? Cavitation is the rapid formation and collapse of vapor bubbles within a liquid.
What's that?
I power a clock with a potato.
Shut up! You can do that? I mean, wouldn't that solve the world's energy crisis?
No.
Those of you watching submarine movies will know that cavitation is not a good thing for a submarine that is in stealth mode. If you want to know what cavitation is, it is when you're on the Dick Cavett show and he hits you as a zinger.
John Wayne ever make a pass at you? Was he supposed to?
That's interesting too. I got some ink on that section, and because of the texture on there, it's very fine texture, but it took a bit to get it off. So that's a pretty good fill. And you can see how the ink doesn't actually attach to the inner surface very well because of that silicone on that piston rod. That's about 1 3/4 milliliters of ink, my guess. Now that I've successfully filled the pen, let's see whether it will write. So we'll be right back after some measurements, some size comparisons, and then the writing sample. And we're back for the writing sample portion of the video. This is Clairefontaine 90 GSM paper, and this is the Moonman Terminator 1. I've now given it a nickname. It is my Terminator fountain pen.
Get out.
And I like that. And let's see how it writes. Moonman Terminator T1. And the ink is J. Urbain, Emerald de Chevaux. And let's check the wetness. I can tell already. Wow. This is a gusher. I'm really surprised at this. It feels more like closer to a medium, maybe because it's gushing so much. It is smooth in all directions. A little bit more in that direction, a little feedback. I might smooth that out a little bit in that direction. But that's just smooth like glass. And any line variation, no pressure, a little bit of pressure. Yeah, it's starting to give me a little bit, but not much line variation to be had. It is a steel nib after all. And how about some reverse writing? Well, that's very nice. Look at that, even getting some wetness out of the reverse writing. Let's listen to this nib. Wow, this is a lot better writing experience than I was expecting. I'm actually very surprised. I know what Moonman nibs feel like, but this one, I'm not going to be replacing this nib. That is a beautiful nib and a beautiful, thick, wet, smooth writing experience. And I'm getting a lot of shimmer because of that wetness. So I'm very pleased that I put that Gerabin in there. I don't know whether I'll ever get it cleaned out of there, but if I just keep using that green ink for that green pen, maybe it won't be an issue. So, what do I like and what do I not like about this pen? First, for my likes. I like the look of this pen. It is well designed aesthetically and unique. Yes, I know the cap looks similar to a Kaweco Sport, but you can't copyright a decagon.
A decagon is a 10-sided polygon.
Look it up, a decagon. I'm sorry, but you just can't. I like the feel of the pen in my hand, and I like the smooth luster of that silky anodized aluminum painted metal. It I was worried about this being slippery, but as I'm writing, it's not slippery. The little bit of edge on those threads actually anchor your thumb, and it's not uncomfortable. I do like how this pen writes. I do like how it fits in my hand. I love the look of this pen. I like the excellent turned acrylic body so we can see that cool ink sloshing around. And this is also a really cool conversation piece pen. Oh my, what is that pen you have? Oh, this old thing? This is my Moonman Terminator. And if you take my pen, I'll be back.
I'll be back. I'll be back. She'll be back. I'm back.
And what do I not like about this pen? Well, there are a few things I don't like about this pen. First of all, I don't like the fact that it doesn't post more deeply than it does. It only posts to the bottom of the piston knob. And if it only went to the bottom of those threads at the bottom of the piston mechanism, if it was that long, it might be a better balanced pen. But as it is, there's no way to write with it like that. I also don't like the fact that when you have it posted, that piston turns. And so I'm not even going to try it because it'll shoot ink out. But it is good that if you're not going to write with it posted, which I won't, you can lay it on your tabletop and it's not going to roll away. But I have the same issue with the Pen BBS 500, that it posts, but it posts so long that it's unusable that way. I don't like the way the pen feels cold when you first pick it up, but it really does warm up quickly. My biggest problem with this pen is not being able to remove this piston mechanism. Either give me a tool or give me a way to get into that section, get into that mechanism without a tool, or allow me to open up the section at the barrel. This does not come apart here. So, and then even at that, the nib assembly mechanism won't come out. So I have this tiny little hole that I have to clean this pen through. So that's the most frustrating thing about this pen. So there you have it. The Moonman Terminator 1. I'll be back. What do you think? Do you like the look? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that bell if you want to be notified of new videos from me. That just leaves it for me to say thank you for watching. And that's all she wrote.